श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. So after the elaboration of the first mantra of Ishavasya through the Swarupa, so yesterday we looked as to how to understand Ishvara's Swarupa. The word Ishvara and Brahman are used interchangeably. But sometimes the word Ishvara is said to be only with his Shakti. Sometimes Ishvara is also used for the word which is only Satchidananda. And some people will tell you only Ishvara is when it is with Maya Shakti. So there is some confusion about this, but the best way to understand it is that the words have to be understood contextually. So Ishvara can be with the manifestation or without the manifestation. Just like I am with a thought, with an action, with a deed, with a body. Means all those I pervade. But I am even without all that identification. Right? Same with Ishvara. Ishvara is the same consciousness, except that for me, only one thought at a time. Memory restricted. That is the way the order is. Mattaha smritihi jnanam apohanancha. Bhagavan says in 15th chapter. From me only there is memory, and from me there is ability to forget, to put away. If we cannot forget, we'll be in trouble. Because so many things, if we cannot forget, life will be big trouble. So you have to be able to forget. Apohanam. Jnanam. Knowledge comes from Ishvara. So if you look at it Ishvara that way, then you will say Ishvara is Sarvajnaha. All-knowing. All-knowing in general. Sarvavit. All-knowing in detail. I know this is a pot, but a potter has to know a lot more about how to make a pot. That every detail you need when you have to make. So all that is Ishvara. So when we say Ishavasyamidam Sarvam, and then we say second part what? Atma. How can the two be equal? So the two can only be equal when you see what is Ishvara essentially and what am I essentially. What does essentially mean? If something is not there, I am still there. So essentially means without which I am not. Correct. Lakshana is only to show you. See, ultimately I am. There is only one I. But we presented it through three main Lakshanas. What are they? Sat, Chit and Anantam. But every other word, like we saw Paryagat, Shukram, Akayam, Avranam, Asna Viragum, Shuddham, Apapa Viddham, Kavir. So all these are what? Everyone is in a way Lakshana, but one is called a Swarupa Lakshana. Satchitananda is called Swarupa Lakshana, which means essentially it is there, without which you don't. Right? A lot of the words are only meant to remove our notions. So I think this is what I am. So what? Akayam. Kaya means the body. So when you hear the word Akayam being said by the Shruti, what should we understand? I want to make my vision the Shruti's vision. Therefore, when I think I, and if a body comes to my mind, I have to say wrong. What did I understand? The body's identification comes and goes. When I say I'm tall, I'm identified with the body. When I say I'm fat, I identify with the body. But when I say I'm intelligent, I am not identified with the body, which means the body is not essentially part of me. Right? So, akayam. Right? So, like this, each word, asna viragum. Asna vira, no muscles, no tendons, etc. Right? Which again comes physical body. Apapa vidham. What is apapa vidham? Not, vidha means pierce, but here what does it mean? Not afflicted by papa. Not subject to papa. Not subject to punya. Swamiji, but one hand you say you are subject to papa, on one hand you say not subject to papa. What is going on? Depends on how you look at it. This is subject to breaking or not? Yes. Now look at it as clay. Is it subject to breaking? You see what happened? If you have an identity with the pot, it is subject to breaking. If you don't have it, it's not subject to breaking. Right? Who is subject to breaking? Here, who is subject to breaking? The pot. But it is not subject to breaking just by saying it as clay. Right? Who is having avidya? Brahman alone has avidya in a form. Right? But you cognitively shift, there is no avidya. So you understand. See, somebody asked, who gets punya papa phala? You talk of punya papa. Who gets? There must be some entity. Something breaks. Who breaks? There must be an entity. Yeah, there is an entity. What is that entity? A pot. A pot. But is that real? As soon as you understood clay, pot becomes mithya. It doesn't matter anymore. And see here, pot is an object, but here what? I am subject to breaking down. Right? I am subject to sorrow. Therefore, I have trouble. What do I need to understand? The I which is subject to sorrow is agama payi. Comes and goes. Agama coming, apayi, subject to going. Agama payi, subject to arrival and departure. My sorrows, my confusions, they are all subject to what? Coming and going. Who is the one who notices their coming and going? Is he subject to sorrow? He is free from them. He sees them come, he sees them go. That is what I am. So, papa is what? Manifests as dukkha. Manifests as dukkha prapaka situation. See, papa even jnani sharira has, ajnani sharira has. Every sharira is born of punya and papa. Therefore, if papa is there, then jnani should also have dukkha. Because papa will produce what? Dukkha. So we don't say papa produces dukkha. Papa is that which is conducive to what normally gives dukkha to you. But as soon as you understand, like the spot is subject to dukkha. What is dukkha? Marana bhayam. Swami may drop me anytime. Handles it every day. Right? So, when it be free from dukkha? When it says I am clay. Then whether I drop it or not doesn't matter. Therefore, every pot has got papa. But this fellow is free from dukkha. Why? Even though he is small, he knows. Because he was small, he had a big complex. I am a tiny fellow. This fellow can swallow me. That's the way he feels. So he is very, very sad. Then he went to another enlightened pot and found out what? I am a clay. I am clay. Being a pot is not a problem. That's just my costume. Okay? Breaking is not a problem. That's even a lump of clay is my costume. Powder is my costume. Costumes don't make a difference to me. This fellow is happy. Whereas this fellow is what? Same situation. He is dukhi. He is sukhi. What's the difference? Just the jnanam. So now who is subject to papa now? Who is subject to papa? The one who identifies is subject to papa. There is only one reality. When there is ajnanam, it is subject to punya papa. When there is no ajnanam, there is no punya papa. So if you try to find a solid entity, who has papa? That fellow who is trying to find is himself a product of ajnana. Okay? So, if this vision is clear, it's wonderful. But if that vision is not clear, and though I try to understand it's not clear, what should I do? That's what came the second mantra. Kurvan neveha karmani jijivshe chatagum samaha. This is the only way. Evam tvayi na anyatha asti what? Yatha na lipyate nare. So Punya Papa won't stick to you, Bandha won't stick to you, is not possible if you don't have this Jnanam. Because if you don't have Jnanam, what are you? I will be a Karta Bhokta. There is no choice. There is no choice. If you're walking on an absolutely dark night outside, whether there is a snake or a rope, you don't see. You don't see anything. But if there is light and you see something, you cannot but avoid making a conclusion. Conclusion can be anything. It's a rope, it's a snake, I don't know what it is. All this is possible, but something is there is given. Right? So if you don't know, Ishavasyam idam sarvam, I am is self-evident. You cannot but have a conclusion about yourself. What will that conclusion be? I am not all that is here. Very simple. I am one among the many. That is samsara. So if that is the case, if I am limited, what am I inherently, what do I feel? Can I do something to feel better? Can I make my lot better? And therefore, what will I do? I only know one means to get better right now. What is it? Do something. What can I do to get better? Therefore, karma becomes the means. But what drives my choice? My likes and dislikes. Normally, right? As we are born. So if I go along with likes and dislikes, I don't grow. I make my likes and dislikes even more inveterate. They become established, very well established. We hone them. So therefore, what is Ishavasya Upanishad saying? If we have to live without the Jnanam, and if karma shouldn't get to you, because each time you go ahead with your ragadvesha, likes and dislikes, you are likely, the propensity is to transgress dharma. Dharma is there. You may even know dharma, but you will ignore it. See, this Deva Asura, we say Deva Asura Sangrama, right? You know what is Deva, what is Asura? It's all here. When there is only Prakrita Purusha, means the person who is Prakrita means as you are born, nothing has changed here. Then what happens? Ragadvesha drives you. Then that is Asuri Vrittihi, because you are likely to even transgress dharma. Because what you want becomes more important than how you get there. The end will justify the means. And what is Sura? What is Deva? Asura is that. What is Sura? When the Shastra Buddhi, what you received from the Shastra, starts to percolate down, and that begins to predominate. Therefore, you always have what internally? Deva Asura Sangrama. Right? If the Devas win, you grow. If Asuras win, you go down. Right? So now what is the next thing being said? Okay, you have to do karma. How? There is only one way to do it. What is that? Kurvaneva. But what kind of karma? Right karma. Proper karma. Karma which is subject to dharma. Right? Now, in that karma, we are seeing what? There is a possibility of multiple things. Karma we have to do, but karma could be done with the hands and legs and mouth, speech. It could also be done with the mind. Mind you that mind is involved in all three. Without mind, there is no karma. Though you call it mindless karma, there also there is a mechanical mind involved. Without mind, we can't do anything. So there is a mind, but a mind which is not being used. So suppose I am driving and I am careless and drive, that does not absolve me from the crime of hitting somebody. Reckless driving. It need not be drunk, it can be reckless driving. Who is arraigned for that? I. So when I am given a mind, I have the responsibility to use it. If I don't use it and cause an accident, I am responsible. So even when I do a thing mindlessly, still the mind is involved in some way. Senses are involved. Organs of action are involved. Right? So what did we see today? We saw two words, avidya and vidya. Right? And what was said in the third mantra in the context? Avidyaya mrityum tirtva vidyaya amritam ashnute. So these two have to be combined. Therefore, we saw that the combination of the knowledge that I am all that is here cannot go with avidya. What is vidya? That which is opposed to avidya is vidya. This is something you should note very clearly in your head. Avidya is not the absence of vidya. It is not abhavatmakam. A lot of people think that it's just ignorance means absence. It is not an absence, it's a presence. Like darkness is not an absence. Darkness is a presence. What does it do? It covers. How will it go? Light. What is light? Opposed to darkness. Light is not the absence of darkness. One absence need not come to remove another absence. Okay? Suppose you define. What is light? Absence of darkness. What is darkness? Absence of light. Then what will happen? Absence never creates a problem. It's a presence of something alone which can create a problem. The presence of darkness denies you the knowledge of what is. So how do you deal with that darkness? You bring a light. And what does light do? To the extent light comes, it will remove the darkness. So here, what is the darkness? I am in the dark about the fact that I am Isha. I am Ishvara. There is only me. But what do I see? I don't see I, but I see an expression of I. And I take this to be myself. So it is not just not knowing what I am. I take myself to be other than what I am. Helplessly. Because you cannot but be aware of yourself. No choice. This is how setup is. Mayavi setup. Right? So now, what should I do? I have to take recourse to Ishvara. Mameva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. You have to take. But how? Swamiji said, you start by worshipping Ishvara. And then you know that Ishvara. You cannot do it the other way. You cannot know Ishvara fully and then go to worship. Because if you know Ishvara, you know I am Ishvara, there is no worship really. It is also a bhakta. It's called a jnani bhakta. What is bhakti? That there is a connection between me and Ishvara. If I am a jnani, the connection is always there. A jnani, it comes and goes. Right? So what did we see now? We saw you have to do what? Avidyaya mrityum tirtva. Here mrityu is what? Swabhavika buddhi. Swabhavika means likes and dislikes govern my life. That has to be replaced by the Shastra buddhi. That is avidya nivritti. You grow. Every time you have to drop your compelling want, like or dislike, and do something which Shastra says, there is an effort involved. You have to use your horsepower to raise yourself up. And when you do that, there is growth. So this is karma. What kind of karma first? Of course, manas is involved, but predominance of the limbs, kayikam and some vachikam may be there. Then what is the second one? Vidyaya amritam ashnute. So that avidya mrityam tirtva means the tendency of raga dvesha is managed. But that doesn't mean my mind will stay with any given thing for a length of time. The mind is a monkey, jumps all over. Now I have to tame the monkey. So that when I want the monkey to sit here, even if he sees bananas, he should not go bananas. How do you make a monkey not go bananas on seeing bananas? It takes a lot of training. Right? And that is the manasa kriya. What is manasa kriya? Shuddha manasa kriya. No involvement of the limbs of action. So our karma is what? Ramana says, what is karma? Karma kim param? Is karma going to deliver you from this samsara? No. Karma jadam. It is jada. It is insentient. Further, what is it? Kriti mahodadhau patana karanam. Kriti Mahodadhau. This world of doing things, becoming, is what? Like an ocean. Maha Udadhi. And into that, what makes you fall and continue being in that ocean? Karma. Therefore, Kriti Mahodadhau Patana Karanam. It's a cause for you to fall into it and remain there. Phalam Ashashvatam. What is the result you get from karma? Ashashvatam. It never is going to stay with you. Gati Nirodhakam. It will not only not help you, it will take you back in a way. So I should not do karma? No, wait a minute. Ishvararpitam Nechaya Kritam Chitta Shodhakam Mukti Sadhakam. The same karma, you change its direction. What is the direction now? It is not done out of Ragadvesha. How is it done? It is to be done by me. See, Ishvararpanam does not mean you have to keep one photo and go and keep things there. Krishnarpanamastu. That is not Ishvararpanam. So you decide what to make today for Gokulashtami. What should we make? Chappan Bhog. For whom? That is not Ishvararpanam. That is Ishvara Nimitta. Arpanam is happening here. Waiting when it will finish. Right? What is Ishvararpanam? For Ishvara, that for a person who does Chappan Bhog, for Chappan means 56, okay? 56 items you make. All this much. But children are very happy to see that. So many things to eat. Right? So now the point is, how is it offered? For people who keep Krishnaji at home, it is very real. You know, they have to wake him up, they have to bathe him, they have to clothe him, it's like a live baby, and he never grows up. He is like, but that's how you invoke Ishvara. Child is easy to, to relate with also in a way. So now Brahmana says, Ishvararpitam. And what's the definition, other side of it, to understand clearly? Na ichchaya kritam. That's important. So I want to eat. That should not be there. Na ichchaya kritam. Ishvararpitam nechchaya kritam. If you do it that way, then what happens? Chitta shodhakam. It will do shodhanam. Shodhanam is what? Purification. So you have some things. So suppose you want to make sugar candy, So Sankranti, we make sugar candies. How do you do it? You put sugar, you melt it. You don't make candies directly. You put it in a piece of white cloth, you do shodhanam. One time you do, it doesn't become white. Second time you do. Third time you do. Then you will see the difference. No? My mother makes, white. If it didn't come, what is this? Shodhanam is less. Shodhanam, chitta shodhanam. How does it happen? It's like churning. The mind churning happens with viveka. What is right, what is not right. What is to be done, what is not to be done. That will give you what? If you churn, what comes out of your buttermilk? Butter comes out. Correct? The churning has to happen. So, nechchaya kritam, then what will it be? Chitta shodhakam. And what will that give you? Mukti sadhakam. It will give you mukti. And how is karma done? Kaya vang mana karya muttamam. Right? Kaya, physical body, vak, speech, manaha, mind, all three involved. And what are they? Pujanam japa chintanam kramat. Pujanam. Puja you do, what does it involve? Does it involve only the mind? Only speech? No. Only hands? All of them are involved. Therefore, pujanam is what? Kayikam. Then what? Japa. Now he is talking of oral japa. Vachikam. Then what? Chintanam. Thinking. Kramat. These are the three. And further what is it? Jagata ishadhir yukta sevanam ashtamurti bhrit deva pujanam. Jagata ishadhiya yukta sevanam. Sevanam, don't say you have to serve, okay? Sevanam does not mean only serve. In fact, sevanam means to resort to commit to. No? So, Jagat, you look at this Jagat not as something to be enjoyed, not as something to be avoided, not as a source of likes and dislikes, but as what? Ishadhi, Ishavasyam idagam sarvam. Bring that idea. You don't understand everything, but you want to bring that idea. You start understanding what Shastra is saying, right? So Jagata Ishadhihi, so you look at the world through the goggles of Ishvara. What do I mean? You seen a 3D movie? How do you see a 3D movie? You know it's all 2D. There's no doubt. What do? You willingly wear a goggle. And what does it do? And then you watch the roller coaster. Right? How do you feel? You feel you're on the roller coaster, and then they'll have one fellow who will have a soda bottle. He'll be throwing it like you, and you will feel it, you'll duck. That much real it appears. Correct? Why? Because you chose to have 3D dhi. Understand dhi? Buddhi. Your thinking is 3D. What do we want here? Look at Jagat with Ishadhi as Ishvara. How do you do that? Shastra Shravanam. You understand what Ishvara is. Jagata Ishadhir Yukta Sevanam. And what is that? Ashtamurti Bhrit Deva Pujanam. Bhagavan is Ashtamurti. What is Ashtamurti? 8 things are being said. 8 things come together to make the whole universe. What are the 8? What is our world? Our world is 5 senses. Take away the 5 senses. What world do you have? What world do you have? Take away the 5 senses. And you have a world? And these 5 are explained by saying they are each attributed to one element. Don't think Akasha is just an element which you know as space. That is not the Akasha. Akasha is that which enables hearing as well as sound. Both are in Akasha. Akasha. Then Vayu is touch and organs of touch. Whatever causes touch, sensation of touch. Then what is there? Akasha, Vayu, Agni. Eye and sight. They are represented by Agni Tattva. Don't think it's fire. Swamiji, how only fire, water will create whole world? No, don't think it like that. Take it as that which brings about these sensations. Because you understand, for a sense to make sense contact, how much intelligence is required? You have a phone, I have a phone. But if our 2 phones have to talk, what do we need? You need what? Either you need a Bluetooth connectivity, right? Or you need what? Wi-Fi, in some cases, connectivity. Or you have to have a wired connection. Correct? How is Bluetooth connectivity made possible? How is it made possible? Because Bluetooth is a standard shared with all vendors. It's open. Everybody builds a device which conforms to it. Therefore, you can share. But you cannot share with Apple iOS. Why? iOS says, Hamare paas, we don't give anything out. You want something, you buy my stuff. Right? But you understand what it takes to interface. That's my, emphasis here. That to make 2 devices, simple devices, talk to each other, you need something. Why? You have an electric plug. You have even the same voltage. Firstly, we're very intelligent. We keep different voltages in different countries. Secondly, even if you have the same one, your plugs are different. You cannot use the plug you have in India, in Hong Kong, which is also 230. And you cannot use what you use that in Australia, which is also 230. You can't. 110 is US. How much is Japan? 90. So you see how well we have organized? So that you don't talk to each other. This is market economics. Right? But here, for all our eyes to see sight universally, not just in human being, in every being, what's involved? So much intelligence. That intelligence, that whole thing you can look at as Akasha, called Bhuta, something which exists, which you can't see, Sukshma. So Pancha Mahabhuta. All these will cover the 5 senses. Your world is over, it's still remaining. We go a little further. This much is enough. You go a little further. What is that now? We say, you look at all the stars and galaxies, all the galaxies with stars. That is one more. And then all the satellites, planets. As I said, 5 is enough. But we need a 6th one, but it's very important. 7th, 8th one, now we have counted 7. What is the 8th one? Guess. You. That is the 8th one. You are the 8th one. Ishvara is not complete unless you are included. That is Ashtamurti. Ashtamurti Bhrit Deva Pujanam. Whole world is Ishvara and is not excluded. This is the vision. So now, how is this to be done then? So what did you see? You have to have balance. You don't do only Kaikam Karma. Ignore Manasam. You don't do only Manasam Karma. Ignore Kaikam. What should you do? You need both. How do our Shastras accomplish that? Without our knowing, they accomplish that if we know and do it right. See, you all come to the temple for Rudram, right? What does it begin with? Laghunyasa. Correct? How many of you are familiar with Laghunyasa here? Very few. Okay. I'll drop that example. We'll go to another one. Look at what we do in Ashtotra. Many of you do puja at home. You do Ashtotra. How many of you do? Some puja, Ashtotram, etc. Good. Bigger number. So when you do an Ashtotram, here also we do, right? What do we begin with? You don't begin with Omkara Simha Sarvendra. You don't begin with that. What do you begin with? Evening puja. What do we say? Mudra Pustaka Vanhinaga Vilasad Bahum Prasannananam. And we say what? Dhyanam. Vishnu Sahasranama will say what? Dhyanam. Lalita Sahasranama will say what? Dhyanam. That is not to be just said Dhyanam and chant. That is not the idea. You should do Dhyanam. It is not meant for only chanting. Saying it is fine, but your mind should be fully in it. What is Dhyanam? Mudra Pustaka Vanninaga Vilasat. Dakshinamurti here. Mudra. Chin Mudra. What does it tell you? The 3 gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, stand on their own. This is the ego you. You normally join this party. Hey, don't join there. Dakshinamurti is teaching you. Join me. This is Ishvara. Guna, Guneshu Vartante. There you join me. This is Tattvamasi. Tat, Tvam, Tvam, Tat, Asi. It's one whole, Ananta. So, Mudra. Then what does he teach with? As a teacher, Adi Guru. Books. Veda. Therefore, Pustaka. In one hand he has Veda. Mudra Pustaka Vanhinaga Vilasat. Vanni. Fire. In one hand you will see a torch. Right? Naga. Snake. What kind of a snake? Cobra. Is it a source of joy to you or fear to you? On him it's fine. It looks good. On near you, keep it away. Right? What is source of fear is Vibhuti to him. Everything is Vibhuti for Ishvara. Vanhinaga Vilasat Bahum. These are the 4 arms, right? Prasannananam. Muktahara Vibhushanam. Muktahara. Mukta is pearls. He has a mala of pearls. What does it stand for? Sadhanam. Not just japa. All sadhanas for mumukshu are included in that Muktahara. Muktahara Vibhushanam. Then Prasannananam. Smiling face. Smeranam. That smile is very important. Smile of contentment all the time. Muktahara Vibhushanam. Shashikala Bhasvat Kirito Jwalam. Shashikala. The moon. You will see on Dakshinamurti a moon. What does it indicate? Time. Time is a terror to us. Aging, death. What is it to him? Glory. Right? So, can you read the next sect? Then Agya. Now you see, this much is, if you only can relate to physical form, you can do this. You will find all our dhyana shlokas will be like this. They will give you one component where you can do a kind of a image you bring in and you relate. But the second one, which I enjoy personally, is Vastu. The truth. What does it say? Ajnanapaham adim. Ajnana means what? The ignorance that which makes me not see my truth, which covers that. Ajnanapaham, one who takes it away. Among them, who is it? First, Adim, Ajnanapaham, Adim. What is it further? Adima Giram Artham. Adima Gira, the first words. You know what's the first word in this creation? Om. Veda is also called to be Adima Gira. So the entire Veda Tatparya is what? Is Tattvamasi. You are the whole. Ishavasimidam Sarvam is Tatparya of Veda. And that is said by Om. We will see how later. Okay? So Ajnanapahamadim Adima Giram Artham. What is he? Bhavani Patim. Mayapati. Everything else is magic. Bhavani Patim. And where does it sit? When he teaches these students. Nyagrodhanta Nivasinam. Sitting under a Nyagrodha tree. What is a Nyagrodha tree? Nyagrodha is a ficus family. Banyan, etc. So what is it? Urdhvamulamada shakham. It's where does the tree begin? Where does it end? If you see a banyan tree, there are trees which take acres. Do you know where the tree begins? Do you know where the tree ends? You cut one thing, does it end? You try to stop your samsara, will it end? How will you uproot samsara? Where is he? Nyagrodhanta. You can see anta as sitting at its base for upasana, or you can see that he is the root of the tree. If you know him, the tree can be removed. Nyagrodhanta nivasinam. What is he? Paragurum. Paravastu Guru. That which is the highest, beyond which I need nothing. The one who will make me see. What is Guru? Gukaro andhakaraha rukarastan nivartakaha. Andhakara nirodhitvat Guru hityabhidhiyate. The one who removes my ignorance is called a Guru, not anybody else. Not who gives me one new complex. Right? So, that Guru, Dhyayami, Dhyanam. This is not just chanting. Dhyayami. For what? Abhishtarthaye or Abhishtaptaye. To gain my desire. What's my desire? Whatever you desire. You are free to desire. But if this is my dhyanam, what will I desire? Right? So you start with what? Om Sadgurave Namaha. Right? Sadguru means what? One who teaches what is Sat. What is truth? Satchidananda Sat. Right? So this is dhyanam. So you see now, before you started your kaikam karma, what should you do? Dhyanam. You get up in the morning, what should we do? What do we teach children if we have a background of that kind? As soon as you get up, what do you tell your children to do? Karagre vasate Lakshmi, Karamadhye Saraswati. What does it tell you? Karagre, in a tip, what? Lakshmi. Karamadhye Saraswati. Karamule Govinda. Prabhate Karadarshanam. Then what else do you say? Samudra Vasane Devi. Parvatasthana Mandale. Vishnu Patni Namastubhyam. Padasparsham Kshamaswame. What does it tell you? Samudra Vasane Devi. Samudra is your sari. It covers you. Oh Devi. Prithvi is Devi. She is not just some, item to be consumed and you dig and take all the stuff from it. She is Devi, Ishvara. Therefore, when I step on you, I beg your pardon. I am going to step on you. I am going to make you dirty. Right? Parvatasthana Mandale. Your breasts are like the mountains. Vishnu Patni, you are not anything else. You are Maya Devi, who is Vishnu Sahacharini. There is no Maya without Vishnu. Vishnu Patni Namastubhyam. Padasparsham Kshamaswame. You see how our day begins. Then you go for a bath. What do? Gange Chaimune Chaiva Godavari Saraswati. Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Jalesmin Sannidhim. How Narmade Sindhu Kaveri will come to your bucket? Buckete Yasmin Sannidhim Kuru. How does it happen? How does it happen? Your bhavana. And if you want to make that bhavana even better, you see what we say in Sandhya Vandana. What? Apova idagum sarvam vishva bhutanyapaha. Apova idagam sarvam. Everything is water. Not water, the truth of water. Brahman is being seen in water. Therefore, apova idagum sarvam vishva bhutanyapah. Vishva is sarva. All the beings are but Brahman, but Ishvara. So what's the vision? That's that karma, right? And if you're Vaidika and taking a bath in a river, then what do? You have a sukta for that. Aghamarshana sukta. Hiranyashringam varunam prapadye tirtham me dehi yachitaha. Yanmaya bhuktam asadhunam papebhyascha pratigraha. Whatever I have done papa, I have taken things who are adharmis, wash all that away. And then it says, may Varuna remove all my sins. So that what should I see? I should see Brahma hamasmi, Yo hamasmi, Brahma hamasmi, Ahamasmi Brahma, Ahamasmi. Ahameva mam juhomi swaha. Juhomi means I sacrifice, I offer. What? Myself. How can you offer yourself? The I with ajnana offers all the wrong notions to you, Bhagavan. So what remains? Just you remain. This is when you take a bath in a river. What do you eat? What do you do? I'm just showing you how it is done already in our culture. If only you understand and do. What do you do when you eat? Huh? Brahmarpanam. Okay, that is after you study Gita. Even if you don't, plain Sandhya Vandan, what do people do? Annapurna is also we learnt later. What do you do? First, Om Bhur Bhuva Suvaha. Right? Om means what? Ishvara. Bhuhu, Bhuva Suvaha means entire universe is covered. As though there are three lokas. Tat Saviturvare, and leave that mantra out, okay? Then what do you do after that? Satyantva Ritera Parishanchami. Satya is truth. What is Ritam? Satyam is what you know, you say. You say what you know to be true. Ritam is you affirm that what you know is right. So you have a responsibility, dual responsibility. You have to know what is right and you have to speak that. Satyant, what is seen is the truth. And that is objectively also seen. Parishanchami, amritamastu. May it become amrita for me. Amritopastaranamasi swaha. You cover with amrita. Then what? You drink. So you have layered, you have put one layer of amrita here. Then what do? Pranaya swaha. What do you do? What do you take then? And before that, some people have another karma. What do they do even before all this? What do you say then? What is the mantra there? So this is called the Bhuta Yajna. Before you eat, you are keeping in mind the world. There are other creatures that need to eat. So you offer 5 morsels outside. Right? And those 5 morsels are to be thrown, not eaten. And I have seen people who will offer big morsels. And they make sure they go and put it where there is some animal which will eat it. They will not throw it into the sink. Right? So you see how the life is connected. You are always in harmony. Every time you keep. So when you take the bath in a river, you say, I will not make the river dirty. It's not to be polluted. Because it is Ishvara. Right? So you eat. Then pranayas. So this is the first step. Then you do the sprinkling. The sprinkling is when you do a mantra aposhanam. That water now gets the power to give ritual shuddhi to your annam. And then you have to have ghee. Because that is also shuddhi. For Ishvara Naivedya, always ghee is to be offered. So what are you doing here? You are eating. It is not Ishvara. No, this is Ishvara. Therefore, ghee must be offered. See the tradition, it's all over, okay? Keeping Ishvara in view is everywhere. Then pranaya swaha. You take one morsel. Pranaya swaha. Not for the tongue. Pranaya swaha. What is prana? Digestion. Right? Which will assimilate it. Apanaya swaha. What I eat, better get, after job is done, waste should go out. Apana. Then Vyanaya swaha. What is assimilated, where should it go? To every cell. Circulation, let it be right. Right? Then Samana Udanaya swaha. That's a ticking clock. Then Samanaya swaha. Assimilation. Small intestine has to, all the villi have to take everything in. These are all Ishvara. Don't look at it just as kidney and gallbladder and small intestine. This is Adhibhuta. Adhidaiva is to be seen everywhere. In everything there is a blessing. So this is what you do. Then when you finish, what do you do food? After that, Brahmane, Swaha. I mean, all these are not separate. They are all included in one samashti called Brahman. Then you eat. Then at end of eating, what do? Amritapi dhanamasi, Swaha. You'll drink one more. Now, you started with Amrita, you filled it with food, and then you again covered with Amrita. This is the vision. Right? Then when you sleep, what do? Before you sleep? Huh? Karacharana Kratamba, you do. Others will do what? I mean, I remember being told, you get bad dreams. What should you do? You remember Bhagwan. Hanuman, somebody says, Ramaskandam Hanumantam Vainateyam Rikodaram Shayane Yasmare Nityam Duswapnam Tasya Nashyati. You remember all these, all your bad dreams will go away. You'll sleep well. But at every stage, what do you recognize? There is Ishvara. Call him in a name. Rama, Skanda, Hanumanta, doesn't matter, okay? But I am helpless. I seek help. You see how the whole life can be organized? And every time you do this, you're getting one more reminder. What? You are not alone. Ishvara is with you all the time. Right? So, you understand how the vision works now. So, Dhyanam in every Ashtotra you will have. Vishnu Sahasranama you have. Lalita Sahasranama you have. You understand the Dhyana shlokas. You make it that mental karma should happen. Then you do your Kayikam Vachikam karma. With your mind also in it. If you do an Ashtotra, try to understand what each name means. Some names will inspire you by saying, everything is Ishvara. Right? Some names will inspire you because Balakrishna. That's what you like. So Bhagavan has done what all Ashtotras you will find in the mix. There will be Tatpada Vachyam, which means the all Shakti, Sarvagyatvam, Sarva Shaktimatvam, all that is included. Second is Leela. Like in Ravana, they will say what? Saptatala Prabhetre Namaha. The one who pierced the 7 Tala trees, in one with one arrow. Right? Then Jamadagni Mahadarpa Damanaya Namaha. One who eliminated the ego of Jamadagni. Tatakantaka Namaha. So you remember Ramayana that way. There is also a Nama Ramayana. But that is all what? Mostly glories. But even Nama Ramayana, if you heard, how does it start? Shuddha Brahma Paratpara Rama Kalatmaka Parameshvara Rama. Shuddha Brahma begins there. Nirguna. Shuddha Brahma. And what is he? Paratpara. Karya Karanat Paraha. That which even transcends the cause. Kalatmaka. One who is in the form of Kala. Time is him. Parameshvara. He is the Ishvara of all Ishvara. Ishvaranam Paramaha. Paramascha Sau Ishvaraha. So you can see every stotra, you will have one Phalashruti also, in case you miss it, Because you want a chocolate to do anything good. Why should I do this? We'll give you a chocolate. All right. What is a chocolate? Phalashruti. You will get all this. This is the way to set up. If we just chant everything in Sanskrit and we don't understand, it all sounds like mumbo jumbo. Something you're doing with Shraddha. There is no rule you should pray in Sanskrit, okay? You can pray in any language. Bengali is equally good. No problem. Right? But if you learn Sanskritam, what's the benefit? You will connect to the Shastra. And Samskrita, if you want to understand, you will have to be very alert. Because the order of the words don't tell you what it means. You have to now understand all the nuance of Sanskrit, which will give Chitta Shuddhi. Swamiji used to say, Samskrita study is required for Chitta Shuddhi. So, all this, so our lives were meant to, our whole life, a Vaidika lifestyle, is meant to incorporate what? Kayikam, Vachikam, Manasam, Karma. This is why Sandhya Vandanam was considered a complete prayer. Why? It includes Kayikam, and all the thing we do is chant. Therefore, Vachikam, and Gayatri Upasana is Manasam. Not just the Dhyanam on Gayatri. It is the Gayatri Upasana which is big there. So now when you do all these, what happened? Avidyaya mrityum tirtva vidyaya mritam ashnute. This is what it's all about. And when we see Ashtamurti Bhrit Deva Pujanam, then what does it mean? You don't exclude yourself from Ishvara. Ishvara is incomplete if you exclude yourself. This was Arjuna's problem. He saw Vishwarupa and then he says, I am afraid. Why? Excludes himself. He sees Ishvara and I am other than Ishvara. If I am different from Ishvara, there is all the reason for me to be afraid. All I have done is, I have given a word Ishvara to Jagat. It doesn't help. See, Jagat scares me now. Now when Krishna showed Vishwarupa, Jagat doesn't scare me, Ishvara scares me. It's equally bad. Right? So the understanding is, first step is Asti Bhagavan. There is Ishvara. There is Ishvara. We need to acknowledge that. Then alone you can do something. Right? And he is what? The one who gives me everything. What do I want? I want to be free from affliction. Artha Bhakta. You begin there. We all begin there. First is what? Nasti Ishvaraha. You get several knocks. Then maybe you wake up. And you say, I'm getting so many knocks. Maybe I'll try this out. It's like, I'm having all kinds of problems, pains. Then somebody says, try out this medicine. Till now I said no. Now, okay, let me try. Ayurveda, let me try. Maybe it will do. And if it does, then what happens? Shraddha. You start trusting it. So first is what? Artha Bhakta. You go to Tirupati. When do you go? Exams are coming. If children can't go, parents will go. 12th exam is coming. I've heard there's a lot of crowd around exam time in all big places, okay? Or when else do you go? In Hyderabad, near somewhere in Andhra, there's a Visa Venkateshwara. So you know what you should do? If you are applying for a visa and you're in doubt, you go to Visa Venkateshwara. He is supposed to give you visa. So you don't know what the fellow in the consul will ask you, consular officer. So what do? You don't take it for granted. You try to manage the unknown variables. How? Ishvara. For what? I am afflicted. India afflicts me. I want to go overseas. So therefore what do? I will go to Bhagavan. This is called Artha Bhakta. Right? Ye yatha mam prapadyante tans tathaiva bhajamyaham. As you come to me, so if you go to the supermarket and buy one chewing gum, that's what you get. You can keep chewing all the day. Right? If you buy almonds, you get almonds. Nourishes the buddhi also. Right? Or you can just chew, get some toothache and spit it out. It's your choice. Correct? So now this fellow is what? For Artha Nivaranam, Artha Trana Karam. One who removes your afflictions is Bhagavan. We don't think of him except when in trouble. This is one starting point. Then what? Hey, looks like I do get out of trouble with his grace. Maybe I can avoid trouble. Right? So now you become what? Artharthi. Whenever you seek something, you remember Bhagavan. Then you say, this is a good Bhagavan. He keeps giving. So you see a golden egg-laying goose. Hiranyagarbha, So, golden egg-laying goose. Then what do? I want to get all the gold. How? Don't kill the goose. You won't get anything. So what you become? Jigyasu. How to get all the gold? Jigyasu. And when you apply your mind to that, then where do you end up? You understand that golden egg-laying goose is me. There is nothing but me. I thought I was separate from that. Jnani tu atmaiva me matam. What's the style you will see in the Shruti, or especially in Gita? You said all this, then still I don't understand. Arjuna still won't understand. Then what will you say? Manmana bhava mad bhaktaha madhyaji mam namaskuru. Manmana bhava. May your mind be committed to me. To whom? Ishvara. Manmana bhava. Then what? Mind has, but buddhi takes me elsewhere. Ragadvesha. Buddhi means, mind is sankalpa vikalpa. Right? So, buddhi should determine this is what I want. That is vyavasayatmika buddhi. Nishchaya. This is right. Where I have gone so far doesn't work. So in fact, whenever we're successful, if you look into it, that success is just incidental. Things could have gone totally wrong, and you don't know when it can be lost. There was this Rajan Pillai. He was called the Biscuit King, Nabisco. He used to run. He died in Tihar jail for lack of treatment. He could afford anything. Couldn't get it. So I'm saying you can have everything you want, but if you don't get it at the right time, at the right place, it's over. And what makes you be at the right time, at the right place? Grace. You cannot correlate which action will bring you there, but grace is needed. And that is recognized by us. And therefore what? Mad bhakto bhava. Manmana bhava. Mad bhakto bhava. Mad yaji. Yaji means what? You do yajna. What is yajna? Ishvarartham karma. Don't think you have to do only fire ritual. That's a wrong idea. Whatever you do, and don't even think it's purely religious thing. Yajna is to do what is to be done as a contributor to the total. Swakarma. Swakarmana tam abhyarchya siddhim vindati manavaha. By doing your karma, by doing archana of Bhagavan, by doing your duty, what is to be done by you? What is duty? Swamiji said, expression of gratitude for what you have received. See the attitude. What do I think? What kind of body has he given me? I can't even play basketball like the other fellows. That is not gratitude. That is complaining. Maniye mange more. Diliye mange more. All the time you want something more. You're not happy with what you have. But what is attitude? Gratitude. You can always ask for more, but gratitude for what we have received. Then what do you do out of gratitude? That is saying is duty. Why? We talk of Pancha Mahayajna. Each one is for one gratitude. Because you have gratitude of human beings, you do what? Athithi seva. The guest comes, you take care of them. Correct? So like this, there is Pancha Mahayajnas. All this is gratitude. Therefore, that forms the basis for karma. But as I said, today, karma you don't know. You don't know what's your, Varnashrama Vyavastha is all gone. There is no Atithi. Everybody calls or sends WhatsApp message, only then they will come, and you will say, please don't come. Today I am busy. Or even if they come, very nicely you ask, you must have had your lunch. We were telling him, don't expect lunch. We had our lunch. We have lunch early, I hope you had your lunch. What will he tell you now? Yeah, we had. Or else he will say, it's okay, we have a late lunch. I'm not going to eat now. You are safe. But that is not Atithi Seva. What is Atithi Seva? You want to reach out. You want to give something. Not for his sake. That giving makes me bigger. Contributing makes me bigger. How would I expect to be treated if I went somewhere without notification? Today we don't see it, but I have seen it as growing up. Some uncle will come from a village, will come at some 9 or 10 in the night, and mom will go first thing, and the cooker is already up. Then only further talk. Coffee will happen after that. Because you don't ask, have you eaten or not? First you put the cooker up. That's our culture. So everything is what? Offering to Bhagavan. So you look at Atithi as what? Bhagavan. Right? So Manmana bhava, Madbhakta bhava, Madhyaji. Mam namaskuru. You surrender only to me. Then what will happen? You will gain me. You will gain me. So when Bhagavan explained all this, what did Arjuna say? Hey, you say you are everything. Can you show me? Can you tell me what is your glory? Can you first tell me what is your glory? I have heard, but I don't think anybody knows your glories fully. Why don't you explain your own glories? Blow your conch a little so I hear it. What did Bhagavan say? He said, everything is me. All that is here is me. Right? And maybe Arjuna is blinking. You have to imagine, okay? If you don't understand what I'm saying, then I will tell you what. Because he wanted to know, tell me which are your vibhutis. Yabhir vibhuti bihi. People, yogis look at you. By which vibhutis do they worship you? Looking at you in which way? Then he says, he gives a whole long list. Like what? Among mountains, I am Himalayas. Among rivers, I am Ganga. Among trees, I am Ashwatha. All this is for what? Because in everything you look at what is exalted. And when you see something exalted, you should think. The thinking should be, when you see something wonderful, who is the cause for this? Suppose you got a wonderful thing, you received something, a gift, let's say, in the mail. What would you ask? Surprise gift you got on a birthday. A very nice bouquet of flowers you got. Very beautiful. Then what will you ask? Who sent this? Will you say, flowers are beautiful and just keep it? You may. But what's the norm? Who sent this beautiful? Who remembered my birthday? Who remembered me today? They're so nice. Who sent it to me? You want to find out, and there's no name. Then you call some people. Did you send something? You want to find out, Why? Because you want to know who did it. Right? So, whole creation is what? You look at a pomegranate. Right? Can we pack anything like that? See the packing. With partitions, neatly packed. Sometimes one partition goes bad. Other partitions are unaffected. Natural packing. And it falls on the earth, nothing happens. Look at coconut's packaging. You don't need a refrigerator. It will stay like that for a long time. Who packaged it like that? So much of energy is packed into each of these, Who packed the rice and wheat with energy? How did it happen? So you should ask or not? If you ask, then what will you get? You will end up with Ishvara. So, but we don't look at, therefore, rice, take it for granted. Wheat, take it for granted. Mountain, take it. But Himalaya, exalted. River, what is river? In rain it comes, in no raining season there is no river. That is not a river. What is river? Ganga, perennial. Therefore you have a glory in that. So like this, at least in some things you can notice the glory. So Bhagavan lists a few. And finally what does he say? There is no end to my glories. If I want to tell you, because Arjuna tells him, tell me in detail, Vistarena. Bhagavan tells him, if I start Vistara, your life will be over. Your grandchildren's life will also be over. It won't end. Why? Na antosti mama vibhuti nam. There is no end to my vibhuti. Why? Because anything, anywhere, anytime is my glory. It's my knowledge alone. Therefore, how much can I tell you? Cows come home is for one day. This is every day. Even if I say, you won't know. So there is also another, I don't remember the details, but there's an example where somebody has had a long life and he's praying and he asks for a blessing that I want to know everything in the Vedas. Then he's shown, a mountain. That much, what you know is nothing. So you will never know even in any number of lifetimes. I don't remember the whole story. Somehow it's not coming to me right now.
So the Rishi actually he has 800 years he has life, Swamiji, and he keeps studying the Vedas.
Correct. And he says, I want to study the whole Veda.
Yeah.
Right.
Brahma gives him another 800 years. He comes back like this 3 times.
Correct.
And Brahma says,
You won't finish it. Why? Because the knowledge is endless. Understand what it means. Because potential is so much. What you're seeing is only what's apparent right now. If you want to look at what's going to come in future, it's all surprises. You don't know what will come. Therefore, it's impossible to know. Therefore, Bhagavan says, Nantosti mama divyanam vibhutinam parantapa. Then how should I know you? Yadyad vibhutimat sattvam. Whatever you find as something special, understand that to be me. From me, my knowledge, nothing else. If that is what Ishvara is, then what should you do? Still Arjuna is not happy. Okay, I heard you, Krishna, but thoda dikhao. Can you prove it in a way, Can you prove it? Can you show me? Then what did he do? He gave a 3D goggles. Dekho, dekho. Goggles dikhaya. Then goggles will go away. How do you have goggles all the time? If you want goggles all the time, then it's only knowledge that Ishvara is never away from me. And therefore, the 12th chapter will begin saying what? It's called Bhakti Yoga, correct. So, having told everything, he wants to ask a question now. See, Vishwarupa Darshana is given, right? And at the end of Vishwarupa Darshana, Bhagavan told Arjuna, he said, Mat karmakrit mat paramaha mad bhakta sanga varjitaha nirvairasra bhuteshu yasamameti pandava. Mat karmakrit. Be one who is doing all his actions for my sake. Means for Ishvara's sake. Means what is to be done. Don't think of an Ishvara standing apart and doing karmas for his sake. That won't work. It will be very hard to do things. You can only do puja then. And whole day you cannot do puja. Okay? So, mat karmakrit, mat paramaha. Your commitment is only to me. Mad bhaktaha. Sangha varjitaha. Sangha is what? That value, that hankering for karma phala. Something you couldn't get out of it. Drop it. Nirvaira sarva bhuteshu. Without any kind of hostility to any being, any living being, yaha, one who is like that, saha mam eti, that one reaches me. Now what is Arjuna's problem? See, I think you told me second chapter, you told me something else, You told what? Jnanam you taught me. Now you told me this upasana. Now my question is what? Which is better? That kind of question comes, in the 12th beginning. Evam satata yukta ye bhaktas tvam paryupasate ye chapyaksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga vittamaha. People who are going after nirguna, aksharam, which is swarupa of Ishvara, and those who are going after this nice Vishwarupa you described, no? Among them, which one is better? Why? If he tells first one is better, what will he say? Sannyas de do. Let me run away from Kurukshetra. His goal is only one thing, okay? I don't want to fight this battle. Somehow give me an escape hatch. What is our situation? I don't want to be in this samsara, this relating with people, doing things. Enough. Give me an escape hatch. Can I come and sit in the Gurukulam? It doesn't work. Unless we are prepared for it, it doesn't work. Therefore, whole life is what? A preparation. That's how we should see it. Preparation for what? Preparation in Ishvara's playground, with Ishvara's, cricket set, hockey set, everything, to gain Ishvara, to know Ishvara. That's how it is. Right? And how do you do? Swakarmanat abhyarchya. This is what we have to do. But still, Arjuna has a question now. So what will Krishna say? He says, it is very difficult to know the formless, akshara as it is. Anyway, I will talk to you about them later, which means what? They are me. They will be me. Now the question is, what is upasana? Should I do Vishwarupa upasana? How will I do it? So that, hopefully, we will see. If we have a class tomorrow, we will see it. If not, I have offered Swamiji that if he needs it, he can take the whole time tomorrow, so he can give a good roundup. Okay? So, essentially what he will say, I will just say it in brief way, okay? That, if you meditate on the Lord as everything, right? First alternative is what? If you can know me as I am, akshara, nothing to be done. But the question is coming as you don't know. Therefore, now what is best? You do upasana on me. As all that is here is me. Means everything you keep me in view. Right? That will bless you. If you can't do that, then what should I do? If you can't do that, if you can't see Ishvara and everything, at least look at something as Ishvara. Ekarupa dhyanam. Right? You say, I love Krishna ji. ठीक है? You do puja to Krishna ji. I love Ganesha. Okay, do Krishna. I love Rudra. Okay, Shiva. Whatever you want. But in that one, what do you invoke? The total. You are unable to see totality, but you have Shraddha, you invoke. If you can't even do that, what should I do? Then he says, then at least do karmas only for my sake. Means don't do any karma for ego gratification. Whole life let it be dedicated to me. If I can't do that also, what should I do? Krishna is giving alternatives, all vikalpas. What could I do? Sarva karma phalatyagam. You do whatever you want, but do not try to be the author of the result of your actions. Let go that hold that you want. You want to control the outcome of your action. Let go. After that, Krishna kept quiet. Means what? There is no further options. We have given you enough options to exercise. Okay? This is your scope. If you can't do that, then he will say, do whatever you're doing. Anyway, see, whatever I tell you, you're not going to do. Because what does it require? It requires my will. See, ultimately, whatever knowledge we have, that knowledge has to reflect in my choices, in my actions. Otherwise, it is not knowledge. It is just something shelved away like in a bookshelf. Won't do anything for me. So if that knowledge has to come out, then that knowledge should be my knowledge. This is what I need to do. And even though I have the knowledge, because of my old habits, I am unable to change. What should I do? There is only one way. You can't ask me another question because I have told you what to do. What you have to do? You have to do this. You have to do what has to be done even if you don't like it. And you should not do something even if you like it, if it is not right. I am unable to do that. That is pressure, vega. Kama krodhod bhavam vegam. It's a pressure. I cannot contain myself. For that, there is no other way. You can be prayerful, but finally what? You have to say no when you have to say no, and you have to say yes when you have to say yes. There is no other way. There is no other way. This much is given. The free will is given. That capacity to say yes or no is given to you. You have made that capacity dead. So suppose, I have to walk. Right? I have been in bed for the last 2 months. Why? I fell, I had a bad fall, and I have been bedridden. Now when I have to get up, what do I have to do? Can I get up and walk, you think? Why? All the muscles have wasted away. Quite a bit. So what do they tell you first? They will ask you to undergo physiotherapy. First step is physiotherapy. What will he do? He will ask you to do certain exercises. Sit and raise your legs. Put it down. Raise your leg. Muscle has to come. The quads, etc. have to come back up. You do it. It's too painful. You won't walk. You won't walk. Physiotherapy is painful. You won't walk. You want to walk? Yes. Do enough to get up. Then you get up with a walker, assisted. You take a few baby steps like you're a kid. Sometimes you have to learn how to walk again because you've had some surgery. Not easy. You have memories of how you could run. You were an Olympian at one time. And today, you can't walk to the bathroom. What do? Legs are given. Treatment is over. But you can't walk. Then you have only one thing. You have to use your will and make your muscles grow. Same way, we have to use our will to grow out of our raga dvesha. At some point, there is no more advice that will work. Finally, the buck stops here. Okay? Buck stops here. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.